Stuff.
Let's kick it off with something a little lighter.
I use matches. I'm old-fashioned.
So I'm very honored to be up here. I know a lot of you probably know more about these guys than I do, and I do not intend to hold the mic the whole night myself. So I'm just going to start it off with the main reason why we were able to do this, and that is the tie-in of old-time radio and how it influences the lives of entertainers. Would you both please give me a little overview, or give us a little overview of what old-time radio brought into your lives and how that influenced you both to get to the Firesign Theater?
You know, the thing is that we are among the generation that grew up without television. So radio was it. And everybody knows all the things that radio does, creates the imagination, creativity, all of that. That was embedded in us when we grew up, because there was no alternative other than go out and, play horseshoes. So that for me, I think that's very important. And so many people, also grew up with that. How did it influence us? Gave us voices, gave us.
Well, it stimulated imagination. Yeah, but see, the thing about radio was I grew up in Goshen, Indiana, and Manhattan, and there was radio in both places. Radio was, everywhere. I remember in the mornings, I used to go down to the kitchen with my grandparents, and we listened to Don McNeil's Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Philco's call to breakfast. Ba, ba, ba.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody remembers that. But radio was an integral part of our day, And of course, in Indiana, I'd get out and I'd be riding on a bike all day. Wouldn't be sitting and listening to the radio. But in New York, I would very often just drop onto my bed and have the glowing radio next to me in my bedroom, and I'd listen to all these great adventure stories and everything.
Yeah.
And I was so curious about it. I went down and I went to Rockefeller Plaza, I guess. Wow. Where did they were? NBC, I think. Who knows? Anyway, they were doing the Archie show. What was it? Armstrong, Jack Armstrong, All-American. And I'll never forget that one of the actors, they had a scene that was taking place in the rain, and one of the actors came out with an umbrella. All right, the script. I went, oh, I get it. This is really fun. So I was always intrigued by radio. My dad was involved in entrepreneurial things. I watched the Arthur Godfrey show from the sponsor's booth. So, radio became less of a mystery and more of a reality to me.
Yeah, that's the breakthrough moment.
Yeah.
Is when you are actually in the studio. I was at NBC, because CBS wasn't. No, NBC was torn down.
I can't remember it.
Corner of Hollywood and Sunset.
torn down.
Sunset, gone. But it was there that I saw Mr. First Nighter.
Oh.
And that's where I saw the sound effects guy climb up 3 stairs and make it 20.
Right.
And I mean, it was just amazing. And those actors,
Yeah.
somebody will say their names immediately, Mr. First Nighter, they did every show. So they came back the next week, and you heard the same actors playing different people. Whoa, that was really great. And then, of course, you heard great stars, like the ones we were imitating tonight, who were really.
That's right.
We loved radio.
Oh, yeah. My family used to sit around the big old radio receiver in New York, and we listened to Jack Benny, and we listened to Fred Allen, and we listened to Bob Hope, and it was a family ritual, really, in many ways. And I remember when we first started working as the Firesign Theater at Columbia Records, amazingly, they were throwing out all these old radio sound effects. Oh. So, and I went down and grabbed them all. We had a little door, and we had marching men, and we had wind, all this stuff. And it was like a perfect blessing.
Yeah, this wasn't the only thing he found. He found the microphone cabinet.
Oh, yes.
We're looking for some microphones. They're giving us horrible microphones. The very first condenser mics. Couldn't work them, just terrible. And so Phil opens his cabinet, like 20 1938 RCA mics.
There's a picture of us sitting
In that booth,
in
yeah,
that
there is,
booth
yeah.
when we did our old-time radio.
So we pulled those out, and that's how we did Nick Danger. It was on
on
all
authentic
nine-
old microphones.
and in Studio B in Columbia in CBS
CBS Square, Columbia Square.
Columbia B Studio B. Studio A was huge. It was like 1,000 seats.
And it could take an
Yeah.
audience.
And Studio B had in the Hammond B3 with a Leslie speaker that had been in there since 1938.
Right.
And it had all those sound effects.
And it had a control room with the cantilevered window.
Yep.
People were, and there was the actors in the, oh my
I
God.
wonder what those boys are doing up in that booth right now. It's funny smell in here.
So was
Yeah,
So,
right.
yes, it was embedded in our lives.
And we felt that what we were doing with Firesign Theater was to extend radio into the new medium, because our records were designed really for people to take home and listen to on the turntables in the privacy of their own homes, which is why we could use some, scatological language occasionally. And then suddenly when FM radio happened, now Nick Danger, interesting story about Nick Danger. Nick Danger, Firesign Theater did a lot of live radio in Southern California. We were on almost every station, including KRLA commercial station, and we decided we were going to do Nick Danger as a serial, right?
That's right.
And we go, I think it was a Sunday afternoon, we go to do our radio show at some station, and the door was padlocked. The station had been taken over by new management, and they were doing like acidic acid rock or something, And so we said, well, what the hell are we going to do with this? And I seem to remember you came up with the idea, well, we have two sides to our record.
Yeah, that's right. Side one was 36 minutes, so it was too short and too long.
Yeah.
And
To break up.
And we didn't much like parts of it. And so we said, well, let's just edit all this out. We'll cut to here.
Right.
And then we'll use the other side. Actually, that album is 29 minutes, 28:30 on both sides.
Ah.
So it is actually the length of Nick Danger ought to be.
That's how can you be in two places at once when you're not anywhere at all, also known as the Marx Lennon album, because we got Lennon and Groucho to agree that we could use their likenesses.
That cover was originally supposed to be a Soviet modernist, Marxist cover.
Yeah.
And they couldn't.
I wanted, it sold it
Yeah.
as a Marxist cover because of the two pictures and the fact that we were all dressed as reviewer,
Reviewing stand.
reviewing stand. But I wanted to have toothbrushes going by instead of, of missiles and things like that. But also about that album, Nick Danger became kind of a breakthrough album for us because it was an accessible idea, all right? And that cover, the Marx Lenin thing, was turned into a stamp by Akhbazia, which was a breakaway Soviet republic, and they sold the stamps to raise money for their army.
And it could have been the cover of that album had they done it a little sooner.
So there's some of that.
great. So I love hearing that because the Firesign Theater is so hard to explain to people.
Yeah.
And a lot of friends that I have done old time radio shows with, or just different kinds of dramatic things. Nick Danger is sort of the gateway, where
Yeah,
I'll say,
that's
listen to that,
Gateway
and you'll
drug.
get an idea of what. But I also love the other side with the the cruise control bits and all the different. It's just amazing because you go from one and you're like, okay, that's like a tangible show.
It was climate control.
That's right.
And no sooner did we put it on the album that a major automobile manufacturer came out with climate control. Much of, so much of the stuff that the four of us did together, brainstorming about the future, were things that came true and are still
Yeah, I think
Still, yeah.
what appealed to us radio-wise, Nick Danger's the most direct radio reference, obviously. What we liked about it is that we could destroy all the conventions that you just saw.
Yes.
Right.
By losing the scripts, by losing our place, by having Catherwood, just bust up, and we would
We throw in
as
Beatles
we did it on
references, too.
stage, it became even,
Yeah.
we would do, what's all this brouhaha? Phil and I could do that for 5 minutes. We could do it as long as the audience laughed. And the other thing about that is everybody could do all the voices. So
Yeah.
one show we're doing, the guy down right front, right there, is doing all Phil's lines.
Yeah.
And Phil just
we were-
goes down, walks down to him, says, "Those are my lines." Okay, and walks back, immediately back into character.
We were the only
funny.
group that was heckled by our own material. And if we deviated from it, it would upset them. It was like the wrong chord. Wait a minute,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah, people do go verbatim on memorizing the Firesign Theater.
Oh,
It's-
people still, will come up to me and say, "Yeah, I did a Nick Danger monologue for my senior speech."
That's right. That's right.
And there was
They do.
just a production of Nick Danger.
Yes, yeah.
In Mishawaka, Indiana, near where I grew up in Goshen.
It was in the lobby of
In the lobby.
lobby. I said, "You guys are so great." In the lobby, they're doing this. And here
Sitting
was
around
the
the
thing.
table.
Here was the thing that really relates. In that the way they produced their show was to do segments, not the whole thing, but
Yeah.
segments of 2 old radio shows beforehand. So their audience, who knows nothing because nobody
Yeah.
knows anything anymore,
Well, radio.
so the audience would understand what
The
old radio
context.
was
And so the context of the parody.
before they saw Nick Danger. I thought that was really smart, really clever idea. So you were able to see what the possibilities for fun
Yes,
were.
right.
And for a show like Johnny Dollar or that were really comedy based detective shows. There were two or three.
I actually.
Well, even Sam Spade was basically comedy.
That's right. Now I'm basically doing a live radio show on KPFK.
There it is.
Where it all began. Yeah. And it's called Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. You can find us at sexyboomershow.com. We've done about 80 shows, and it's interviewing people we know like Weird Al and Penn Jillette and Lorraine Newman and all kinds of and other fascinating people in different scenes of life. And it's just nothing like live radio. It's just nothing like it,
It's
It's a feeling.
We did actually more, and I have to say that there will be appearing for sale, if anybody is interested in the Firesign Theater's radio career, about 80 hours of it on a disc inside the book. And
This is Duke of Madness
Duke
Motors.
of Madness Motors.
Yeah, you can get our stuff, and a lot of it is obscure on our website, firesigntheater.com. And also, both of us are authors. We've written books. I carried a book to show to everybody, and of course, forgot it completely, focusing on the project. But I wrote a book called Where's My Fortune Cookie? Because my partner Peter Bergman and I, when we were touring as Proctor and Bergman, were in a mass shooting in Chinatown in 1977 called the Golden Dragon Massacre, because it took place in the Golden Dragon restaurant. 5 killed, 11 wounded, and we were fine. And the whole thing, that morning I'd learned that my second wife, Barbara, was pregnant with my now 47-year-old daughter, 48-year-old daughter, Kristen. And the whole shooting had been predicted to me by a psychic friend of mine named Sharon about a month before it happened.
Wow.
She said, "You and Peter, you'll perform, and you'll go to a restaurant, and you'll be caught in a shooting between foreigners. People will be killed and wounded around you, and you and Peter will survive unscathed."
Wow.
And of course, I didn't think about this until maybe a week afterwards. Oh my God. I mean, luckily I ordered the duck. So.
Without Pete, I got to say about the Firesign Theaters, it really was Pete's. It was Peter Bergman's.
Yeah, it was
Was
his
his
baby.
from the beginning.
was his
It couldn't exist without it. And when he died, totally unexpectedly,
Yeah.
I talked to him
Leukemia.
on Thursday. I said, "I'll see you on Saturday." He died on Friday, so I never got to L.A. to see him. But without Peter, and this isn't because Peter wrote the shows. This isn't because he directed. We had to teach him how to act. He seriously, he'd never been on a stage. We said, Pete,
some
you,
film work.
Pete, you got to face downstage.
That's-
Where's that? Downstage.
That's true.
Looking at me, Pete.
All of us, David and Phil and I, all came from theatrical backgrounds. You know, I was at Yale with Sam Waterston, John Badham, Peter Hunt, Austin Pendleton, incredible people who've gone on to have wonderful careers. And David keeps amazing me by posting pictures of him acting in all these various plays.
I was Richard Chamberlain. I went to college with him. We were in half a dozen plays.
Richard Chamberlain.
Bob Town, who
Robert
wrote
Town?
Chinatown.
Yeah.
Was in the same class. Who else? Oh gosh.
What? But there it is.
You know, they're the major. It was a generation of actors.
That's right.
That we grew up with in college. And
Yeah, and I did Broadway musicals, and an off-Broadway musical brought me out to L.A., and this is in the book. I connected up somehow with Peter Fonda, and I came out with Brandon DeWilde, who some of you probably know from Shane, Little Kid in Shane. I understudied him on Broadway. We became really close friends. And so we come out to L.A. together because he wanted to he was starting to do a musical career and get back into movies. And Peter Fonda was doing research for this project he had in mind, which was called Captain America, but they wouldn't let him use that name. So let's see, he found another name for it. Easy Rider.
yeah.
Does anybody know what an Easy Rider is? It is a man who lives off the earnings of a prostitute. He lives with her, and she supports it. That's an easy rider.
You know, this was also.
But wait, I have to finish. I'm finished. So he's doing research for this film, Peter Fonda, and we heard about they were going to impose a curfew on Sunset Boulevard, okay, to prevent the anti-Vietnam War protests, open smoking of pot, and free sex and all that stuff. So we decided to go down to become a part of the demonstration again to protest this.
Laurel Canyon and Sunset Boulevard, for those of you who know L.A.
That's right. Something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
That's our theme song.
So they had the LA police on one end of Sunset and the sheriffs on the other.
County.
And they were pushing us all into a mob so they could declare a riot. And at one point, we all just sat down. I sat in front of a Pandora's Box, famous club, and I sat down on an open issue of the LA Free Press. I pulled it out from under my ass. I had sat on Peter Bergman's face. There was a picture of Peter interviewing returning war veterans, and it said KPFK newsman Peter Bergman. Well, Peter Bergman was at Yale with me, writing the lyrics to musicals that Austin Pendleton wrote. Tom Jones, I played Tom. Booth is Back in Town, I played Edwin Booth. And Peter wrote the lyrics for these musicals. So I already knew him, and I went, what the hell, what is with Peter? So after this whole evening ended, Fonda got beaten up, Brandon was arrested, and I was writing for the East Village Other. I was the West Coast correspondent for this crazy paper in New York. And you remember it? And I had a press card with an eye on it. And I held it up, press. And the cops just robbed me like butter through, like a hot knife through butter. And so the next day, I called Peter up, and he said, yeah, I'm the Wizard of Oz. So I thought, oh, boy. He's gone. He said, no, I do a show called Radio Free Oz when was it on?
Well, it was on every night by that time.
Every night?
I think by that time.
From when to when? Like 10 to 1?
11 to, it was 11 to 1, I think.
11 to 1.
Yeah.
And he said, why don't you come down and play with us? And I'd done some radio with him at Yale. So I said, sure. I show up, and I meet this guy and another guy named Phil Austin, who are working on the show. Or
Austin was producing it.
Austin was producing
He was on, it was, late night, so Austin, and when he had the mics on, he just would go in the studio, and they'd rap in the studio, And it was what they call a driveway show. In other words, you'd be listening to it, and you couldn't go inside because you had to stay in your driveway to listen to the radio.
Oh, a driveway show.
Yeah, driveway show.
Oh.
And I definitely
It was the
like
first counterculture late night call-in talk show.
Absolutely. And if people would call and say, I just dropped some acid, Peter, and say, well, you better pick it up.
Yeah, right.
We did three-card tarot. Three-card tarot. Yeah, I got some real problems. Guys, can you really help? This is phone,
Texas Tarot.
And they put down three-card tarot, past, present, future. And there's a hanged man, and there's the princess, and there's the dirty dog, and we tell a guy, and they say, oh, yeah, oh, wow, man, oh, wow.
Saved my life, man.
Yeah, man. And like everybody we're talking to is so stoned, man.
Yeah. Now,
They're really stoned.
Now, did we improvise that first day when we were together? Well, first of all, we discovered we were all Firesigns.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and Bergman latched on that immediately. His head went right to the Firesign Theater.
He said, actually, I remember, he said, the first show we did, we'd been around the studio, we'd been in there and out,
Yeah.
But he said, I want you guys to come in tonight, and I'm going to do the Oz Film Festival.
That's right.
And you're all going to play movie directors. And, okay.
All right.
I can play two. How many can you play? Two, you're Russian, French,
two or
right?
three.
You got
I was
that.
the French guy, the Russian guy.
So we're all in there.
Jean-Claude. I did a film for the Flea Theaters in Paris called 2 Weeks with Fred, and it is 2 weeks with my friend Fred. And when he is sleeping, you can sleep in the theater, bring a sleeping bag, and when he's eating, you can eat, When he's pissing, you can go to the bathroom, And it was great success.
That was, yes.
For 2 weeks.
And I was Mario Espinato. He was a great guy who was he was from Chile, and what he really liked to do mainly was to drop cameras and roll them. He liked the physical motion of the cameras, And so he went. The great story, he goes up to the high mountains in Chile, and he rolled it. A Panavision cameraman rolls that sucker down. So we're doing this.
Yeah.
Proctor, Austin is like, he's like.
Oh, yeah, he was the theater of the bedroom or
Yeah, something like that.
Jack Love.
Anson Tangerine.
Oh, God. And he wanted to show a clip from one of his movies, Blondie Pays the Rent.
Yep.
Right?
And
on the radio.
Right, so Peter puts it on.
Yeah.
He puts it on.
He puts it on, and somebody calls up and says, you can't show a dirty movie on the radio. I think that's when we figured.
So we shut it down, and then the phone rings and say, you're censoring that.
Right.
You can't censor that.
You can't censor that.
It's
Let him
entirely
show
in
his
their
movie.
imaginations.
That's what we kind
And
of said.
so afterward, we looked at
This
each
is
other.
a career.
Said, boy, they'll believe anything we say.
This is a career.
Yeah.
We could take them way out
up
there.
But Pete got the job really at Columbia. They asked him if he would do an astrology album, and he said, "I have this comedy group."
Yep.
So he calls Phil to come in from New York.
Yeah,
off the road.
I was just. My book is filled with these strange coincidences. I was breaking up with a girl I was living with in the East Village named Diana Dew, and Diana Dew invented electric clothing. She was a genius. There's a translucent plastic material that holds a charge and glows. So she built dresses with black strips and these translucent strips. She designed a control on the belt that would make the light go around and flash. okay? When she finally left that business behind, Salvador Dali bought all of her stock, okay?
Wow.
But anyway, our affair had come to an end. I was back there basically to close up my apartment in the Village, and I just it suddenly was like, okay, this is over. So I went downstairs to have a talk with her. Ring, ring. Huh? Oh, Phil, it's for you, huh? Hey, Phil, it's Peter. There's a ticket waiting for you to come out to Los Angeles at Black Rock, Rockefeller Plaza or something. We're going to do our first record, Waiting for the Electrician or Someone Like Him. I said, goodbye, Diana. I'm on my way.
We were in the studio that summer of, it's exactly when Sgt. Pepper was released.
Wow.
We had a mono version of it on tape that we played all the time. What did we learn from it? Don't have separate cuts. Segue, segue. Okay, that was really an important thing from that album, and
right.
that was a breakthrough for them. No one did that.
But after that first album came out, we were an unknown quantity, 4 crazy guys putting out a long form record for the first time in history, and they were going to drop us. The suits at Columbia, these crazy
Weren't
hippies
selling enough.
weren't selling enough. Drop them. And a fellow named John McClure stood up with the record in his hand and said, "These guys are geniuses. We've got to keep them on the label and see what else they're going to do." And he was the head of the spoken arts division
Classical, yeah.
at Classical,
Yeah.
and he said, "I'll sign them to a spoken arts contract." And what that did for us was it gave us free, unlimited studio time.
Oh.
So whenever the studio was free, we could go in. That allowed us to write records, to write a record and take some of it in and lay it down, which informed us as to the direction of the story. And
Yeah.
what a gift that was.
Yeah,
Of course, we gave up a larger royalty. So fuck John McClure.
No, actually, we didn't give up a larger royalty, we gave up mechanicals. And if you know anything about the record industry, mechanicals are you get paid for every single record they press, not the ones that sell.
Yep.
So we did, that was what made millionaires of rock bands, was that that was the kind of contract they had. We couldn't have done it without free studio time.
That's right.
Because we never could have gone in there. We were, as Phil said, basically the way we wrote was to write 2 or 3 pages, go in and record it, listen to it back, and of course, we went in with a studio that we had argued over for 2 weeks.
Oh,
We
yeah.
went in the studio with the script, threw it out, and ad-libbed the rest of the
That
show,
was so
you know?
crazy about it. We were 4 creative, crazy guys with the wonderful senses of humor, throwing ideas out. And like, if one guy didn't like it, we had this like crazy democratic idea.
yep.
If somebody vetoed what we thought everybody else thought was funny, didn't get in the script. And it could be 2 against 2 and 3 against 1 and 1 against 1 against 1 against 1. I mean, it was crazy. So the creative process was often very chaotic. But as David said, we'd go in with these hard-fought pages and we'd start laying them down, and immediately our improv gene would kick in.
Yeah.
And the characters would come alive.
Yeah, the characters came, because what we were writing were lines.
Yeah.
What we were performing were characters.
Yes.
And that wouldn't happen until we were in the studio. I mean, Phil came in, the way that second record started really is Phil came in, and he can tell you the story, but he won't.
Maybe.
He came in with his reaction to late night television, which was that it was all car ads.
Yes, it was.
And so he came down, I remember vividly, he came in and said, "I've written the Ralph Spoil Sport mantra."
Mantra. Oh, that's what I call it.
And okay, that's good, Phil. What does that sound like?
Hi, friends. Ralph Sport. Ralph Sport Motors.
That's where it starts.
The world's largest used nude and nude-lewd automobile dealership here in the city of emphysema. And that is true. Because when I came out with this play, The Amorous Flea, that I'd won a Theater World Award for, presented to me by Paul Newman in New York. Oh, you're so much bigger on the screen. Anyway, I was alone, you know, staying at the Montecito and various other. Finally, I got an apartment because we were a hit, playing in Las Palmas in Hollywood, Las Palmas Theater. And I'd stay up after the show, cause, you know, all jazzed up, watching late night Los Angeles television. And this little orc of a man, this little bald orc, was selling cars all night long.
Ralph Williams, yeah, was his real name. But there were others. I mean, there were at least 3 others.
Ralph Williams.
Proctor, Cal Worthington, that was
And his
Austin.
dog Spot.
Austin did the
Was
beautiful
a
Cal
tiger.
Worthington. And
What did he call that? The raven.
yeah,
Nevermore, nevermore. Oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, he had a pet raven that was.
that was one. I did the Raven, I remember.
That's right.
Nevermore. Right. Well, anyway, that was often the way these things would start.
Well, when you talked about the improvisation and some of the way that you worked, once a couple times I've watched the video of you guys doing Mark Time where you were around a round table, and it was so fast paced, and it was just incredibly admirable. All of the things that were happening, the music, the sound effects, the timing. Can you talk a little bit about that process of working just together so keenly?
That was actually David's. We would often come in with ideas that we had, or even scripts, even skits.
Yeah.
The Chinchilla Show was something that I wrote watching an ad for raising chinchillas on television. And I called them mutant blues because they were totally artificial. You could put a cigarette out on them and they wouldn't.
Very painful.
You know.
The liftoff is what I'm trying to say of doing that kind of thing. We had to have something like a form. Okay, what's the form of the first album?
What do
It's
you
an
make fun
album.
of? Yeah.
It's radio. What's the form of the second album? You know, what's the form? What are we going to deal with here? Finally came to, well, what haven't we dealt with? Well, Disneyland, that's a good one, and that's Bozo.
But and listen to this. I mean, a second album, Nick Danger, radio parody. Third album, television parody.
Yeah.
Don't Crush That Dwarf, Hand Me the Pliers. Click, 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 click. We basically invented channel surfing as a dramatic framework.
That's because nobody could ever end anything.
Right, and it did, right. And then in Bozo's, yes, it was going to be a future fair that was created by a computer, and I had gone to a work fair in L.A. I don't know why, curiosity, and I found a printout of a thing called the ELIZA program, which was the first interactive program. It was done by printing, basically, and you'd ask a psychiatrist, a computerized psychiatrist, questions, and it would answer it. And there was this big barrel of all of this. Remember the yellow paper, perforated paper? There was an endless thing of that, and I picked it all up, and I brought it back, and it also had the code, computer code in it.
Yeah, that was
Unhappy MacNam and things like that. Dr. Memory is direct readout memory. And that was kind of the inspiration for us. But here's the topper. Both David and I were lucky enough to work with Pixar and Disney, and we're both in the movie A Bug's Life. David has a real role, and I just play, like a grasshopper, gangster, and things like that. But anyway, at that opening night party, at that cast screening, there's this big gangly guy with a goatee and long hair, introduces himself to me. Hi, I'm Steve Jobs, and I'm a big fan of yours. I said, yeah, you're much taller than I thought you'd be. And then when we were gathering our goods to give to the Library of Congress, all of our archives, which are in the Library of Congress now, Taylor Jessen, our archivist, is going through all this stuff, and he comes across a contact sheet, which were pictures taken when we were up in Berkeley signing albums at a record store before or after a performance. And there's one picture of the four of us with this big, gangly, dark-haired, goatee guy. It was Steve Jobs.
Oh, wow.
He really was a fan.
Yeah.
And he was so inspired by the album that he put on the iPhone an Easter egg. I played a character named Clem, but when the computer asked me my name, I hesitated, Clem. So I became Clem to the computer. Well, Steve Jobs had this Easter egg where you'd say, Siri, this is worker speaking, hello, which is the code I used to break into the computer to plant a virus in the computer. We didn't have those words, but that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
And she would say, hello, Clem, what service can I perform for you? LOL. And that was Steve Jobs' homage to us. And the virus that we planted was a Zen question. Why does the porridge bird lay his egg in the air? And the computer couldn't handle it. And broke it down. So, Steve,
right.
if you'd say to Siri, why does the porridge bird lay his egg in the air? She would say, you can't shut me down that easily.
Yeah.
No, about 3 years ago they stopped. But it went on for 10 or 12 years.
That was on for a long time.
It was just-
Peter became an Apple master.
Yes, he did.
He was really tight in with all.
Peter Appleseed.
Peter was really in two places at once.
Oh,
He was
God, I have a
always in
story
two
about
places
that.
at once. I don't know whether that's
When he wasn't anywhere at all because he was on the radio.
Always.
He wasn't physically, always there. But
But he was always doing something else.
Yes, he was.
Peter was always involved
Dynamo.
with something else. And he
he
was.
did a one-man show that toured all over China and all
Yeah,
places
yeah,
like that.
he seized on that, the 2000, that was, we were gonna lose all of the zeros, we were gonna go. Yeah.
Y2K, yeah.
He had a whole show based on that. And interesting, he's just was fascinating, but he was not one thing. And he was always interested in technology, he was always interested in, he had a, the machines
calculus,
that do.
physics, all kinds
all
of.
that
We
stuff.
toured universities. He'd come back with all these calculus books and stuff.
Yeah.
But talk about being in two places at once when you're not aware at all. When he died, his wife, Mary Edith Burrell, came out to take care of his funeral arrangements, and she called the hospital and said, "Okay, I'm gonna call the funeral home, and we're gonna pick up Peter's body." And they said, "Well, he's not here." And she said, "What?" "Well, he's not here." Okay, so she called the funeral home. She said, "So did you pick up the body, Peter's body?" "No, he's not here."
Not here.
Peter was literally in two places at once when he wasn't anywhere at all.
Yeah.
So it came startlingly true.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without any of us.
No.
But Peter was that. I don't know. He was some kind of anchor that the other three of us. We did one show together, an homage to Pete after he died.
yeah.
But there was no way that we could pick it up.
No, and
There's no way.
when we came to a point, at one point, listen, we had a long career together, over 50 years. So you can imagine all the changes that would be going on. There were deaths and suicide and divorces and oh my God, American. But we held together. We kept it going, and oh gosh, now I think I forgot the point of my story. The train of thought has left the station, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see. I was talking about being two places at once. What were you talking about?
Well,
The end of it.
if,
I don't know.
well, maybe if,
Proctor and Bergman. Yeah, we came to one of the points where these boys, Phil and David, really wanted to do some more studio albums, And we felt, no, we want to get out there and meet the people who are our fans and spread the Firesign spirit out there.
That was what they told us.
That's yeah. Make a little money, you know.
That's what they told us. No, it was impossible for us to tour because Ossman wouldn't fly.
That's right.
And so we could not. He
Drive
cost
with
us
his
millions
6
of dollars.
dogs and his wife, Una,
Yep, they would.
to every venue.
So that made it not only possible but necessary for Proctor and Bergman
Yeah.
to perform because we couldn't do it
Yeah,
otherwise.
and it was good. It worked out okay.
Well, you had you
Had a good,
were
fun
very
career.
successful in discovering successful people.
Yes.
You know,
What do you
on
mean?
the road. I mean, the magicians,
Oh, yeah. Oh, Harry Anderson.
Harry Anderson.
Yeah, Harry Anderson. We you know, when we toured, and that was an interesting experience. We were playing in Houston. I'm sorry to say, and and there was and we needed an opening act because the owner of the club that we were playing in, he opened for the acts that were there in a gorilla suit. And we didn't think that was appropriate for our audience. So there was this kid doing magic in the bartender. And so we got to know him, and he said, hey, could you open for us? Oh, sure. And it was Harry Anderson. And he fucking killed. He did the old needle through the arm, and he did all this incredible stuff. And so we befriended him. And then when we were playing in Austin, Texas, there he was again. And we had an entirely different show. And we told him it was more like a New Age show. Could you do something for us? So he shows up wearing a dashiki with electric lights, with the Christmas lights on and off underneath it. And he did this entirely different, wonderful show with mind reading and everything. And we said, you know, Harry, you should go to L.A. The next thing I know, I'm guest starring on his television series, Night Court.
Night Court.
And
Yeah,
there were various other people
the
like that.
generational difference between.
Penn Jillette used to
Yeah.
used to follow us around. This big old gawky kid from the Midwest. And finally we said, come on, kid, let's go out to dinner after the show and talk to him. And he was going to go to Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey Clown School.
Yeah.
And we said, well, you know, whatever happens, kid, if you get out to L.A. And so then all of a sudden I'm seeing him in a show he did at the Las Palmas Theater, where I was first introduced to L.A. with this guy, Teller, and Mofo, the mind-reading gorilla. And
Off
it's
they
been
went.
50 years.
Wow.
Residency in Las Vegas. That's a good gig. That's a good gig.
And he's still a
I
friend.
think what I was interrupting you to say was just that it's a generational thing. We were 10 years older, roughly,
true.
than that generation that they discovered, and they had heard the albums. So when Phil, to be in Phil and Peter's presence for somebody who just listened to records and wanted to do something and was a kid, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
it
it
really was a big deal.
Made a lot of good friends.
And they were on the road much longer than Austin and I were. We did one record together, and that isn't even what we did together. We sort of wrote it, then you go into the studio, and then you do it, and it's none of those solo albums. Well, Proctor and Bergman's albums, yes, but none of the other ones are without all of the Firesign.
That's right.
Because you couldn't do. I mean, How Time Flies. They're there. I mean, they're the characters in the show. Wrote it for them.
Yeah.
So, well, why wouldn't I? And Judith, my wife, has sitting down there in the front row, knows perfectly well, if she points the camera at this guy, that he has been in every show that we've done together for 38 years.
Oh, yes, that's
We were
right.
in. Phil was in the War of the Worlds that we did in 1988.
They have a company called Otherworld Productions, and they've been doing extraordinary radio work, which is amazing. Tell them a little bit about some of the projects. you've done.
Well,
Besides
what's our big
War
project?
of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds was that was the 50th anniversary. We tend to do anniversary productions. and we did a series. There were major shows. Judith can probably, I'm too tired to probably remember any titles. But
Well, King of the Air? Was it
Empire of the Air.
Empire of the
And
Air?
If any of you have heard Empire of the Air? Empire of the Air, which was made into a television documentary by Ken Burns.
Wow.
So we were hired to write the radio version of the book, The Empire of the Air, that this guy is writing. The scholar is writing this book. I'm getting chapters. And I mean, I said, okay, I'm adapting, and the more I worked on it, the less it was like a history of radio, and the more it was like a history of Major Armstrong, who invented FM.
Right.
And what great American tragedy, because FM was stolen from him by
Westinghouse?
No, by General Sarnoff.
General
For
Sarnoff.
television.
General Sarnoff.
The FM band, as it was originally created, was the television band, television sound band. And just that original transmitter in New Jersey, I think it's in New Jersey, just broadcast a piece of that program.
Oh, yeah?
Because we have such radio friends around the country.
Wow.
That they went down there, and so we've been on the same FM station that he invented. There's the tower. But that was David Ogden Stiers, who has passed away. Almost all of our actors that we did 20 years ago have all gone. It's so sad.
But you have a new project.
We have a new project, and that's she's pointing at me
But
right now.
right before that, they did The Wizard of Oz, a star-studded cast of The Wizard of Oz with Johnny Goodman and Renee Annette Bening and
Renee Aubergenois.
Renee Aubergenois.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, wonderful.
That was the 100th anniversary of that show, which was 2000. Was in 2000. It has never been reissued. However,
Wow.
we are going to reissue it.
Good.
It's a 4-hour production, including an afterword by Ray Bradbury,
Oh, it's wonderful.
which we recorded, fortunately, before he was seriously ill. And he was just great. Of course, Ray sat down and did 20 minutes, and that was it. And then what did we do after that? We have done live radio shows endlessly for the last 15 years.
And we have flyers out to promote your most recent
Yes, the
project.
most recent is Treasure Island. Treasure Island came to us from our son, Orson. Orson said, I got to write this. I got to write something. I'm going to write my favorite book, Treasure Island. I'm going to write it for television. And he gave us a chapter of it. And we said, well, let's make great radio. And he'd been with us from the crying baby in War of the Worlds to a 38-year-old man. And he knew exactly what he was doing. He's been with us every minute. And so we sat down for about 4 months, and he was not living in Washington then. And we were on the phone every day. He'd read me what he wrote. I would edit it. Essentially, I guess I was script editor.
Scripted.
And but he's a film guy.
Story editor.
So story editor. Maybe that's it. Oh, we have to talk about credits, man.
Gosh. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people. But Taj Mahal is doing the music. It is all set in the New World. Its subtitle is a telling for the new, telling.
Telling for
Say.
the New World.
Treasure Island, a telling for the New World.
That's it. That's the title. Johnny Goodman is, in fact, in the opening episode playing terrifying pirates. I'm playing.
And I kill him.
Yes,
I'm
you.
French pirate, I kill him.
Yes.
Bastard.
So this is in the last stages of, this is an 8-hour public radio, not Amazon, not anybody else. It's Judith and me and him and us. Okay? So it's not one of those sellout productions. We won't do it. We're going to distribute it. It's public radio. It's your program.
Yes.
Now, if you want it, you pay us a few bucks and you can download it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
And it's fabulous. It was,
Your broadcast.
yeah,
The idea, excuse me.
get it out there.
Here. Why don't you say?
No, so the idea is to give radio stations some refuge at this time. They're having news fatigue problems. Nobody wants to listen, but they do like to listen to the radio if only there was something they could listen to that didn't depress them. So, so this is a wonderful, jolly production, and the acting is spectacular. Everything about it is cinematic for the mind. Our sound designer has won a few Oscars for that. Randy Tom at Skywalker.
Randy Tom.
Made a major contribution with sound beds, things we couldn't get otherwise. And the really difficult work, the Foley, is so detailed. Well, I'll just tell you this. There's the sound of a gold coin flipping across the room, and you can actually hear it. And you know it's a gold coin. So I think it'll be, I think it's going to be good. I don't want to say too much more because we're still finishing it, and I don't want to jinx it. So other than that,
Can you say the title one more time?
oh, yeah, okay, so Treasure Island, as in Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island, A Telling for the New World.
And it was recorded on location on Whidbey Island.
Oh, yes, that's.
On
That's our-
location,
Say.
That's
like
our
a movie. It
style.
was incredible.
That's our style. We record as,
Actualities.
yes, that's right.
And it would have been impossible to do it in the studio, as anybody you can imagine, you know. It's single-point microphone, just like a movie mic, just single-point mic, so we can mix any way you want. In a private home on not Langley, almost Langley.
With
on the
lots of land, a
Beautiful,
pond,
beautiful pond.
different environments
So
inside. And
Our actors would arrive and they'd say, where is it? We said, right outside, right there. It's outside. And we had Orson had located like half a dozen out places that sounded right. They had the right reverb or the right.
to tell the
sound.
story. Right.
And so we would do that scene there, and then we move over and do that another scene. Rowing scene is great because it was done actually by the lake.
That's right.
And we're sitting in these
Chairs.
rolling back and forth. And, it's just
So
great.
much fun.
So, and we're not the only people who do live, outside of studio recording. But I tell you, it's the way to go. Because you don't have to go through that heavy lifting of making it sound real. It's real, it's out there, it's real.
And movement, the actors are free to move and live, the scene and interact in different ways, different distances. It's wonderful. Now, before we wrap this all up, I do want to tease you with another potential. My friend Adele Abrams, who played my secretary Alice, she and I are in an Emmy award-winning documentary, just won an Emmy, which is a historical musical documentary, Jay Schlossberg, called Feast Your Ears.
Sorry, I
And
wasn't wearing that shirt tonight.
Oh, that's right. And it's the story of WHFS Radio, which is one of the first progressive rock stations, on the East Coast. And now Jay has committed to doing a documentary about the Firesign Theater.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
And we have, ironically, the woman I live next door to in Benedict Canyon is a documentary filmmaker who raises money for these things, Christina Colissimo. So it's like the pieces are magically coming together, and we can only hope that.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, we can. It's time for that movie. We have so much film. We have so much film and film performance. It's just a shame that it isn't really out there.
Well, we'll see what happens.
we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
That's
And
exciting. That's
It is
exciting
for us.
news, yeah.
Yeah. We should live long enough.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, how do you guys feel about a couple audience questions?
Okay, we'll
Shall
take
we?
two.
Okay, raise
Here's
your
one.
hand if you have an audience question.
There's one right there.
Oh, okay.
How long have you guys been friends?
Oh, here, can you?
19.
How long have you guys been friends?
67, yeah.
I've known him since 67. Yeah.
Well, we met at the gay bar before that.
You weren't supposed to.
I didn't know your name.
No, that's right.
Big Ed.
Yeah, big over.
Right,
Yeah.
I've seen many performances of the Firesign Theater. the ones in Kirkland in the last 20 years.
Those were the last.
What's interesting is that when I first saw you at the Astro, like I told you, and I was impressed by the fact that you weren't just sticking to the script, you were improvising along with it. But I noticed, like in more recent performances, that the audience would say the lines with you, which kind of hampered you a little bit. I just wanted to know what you thought of that happening.
Well, it was Nick Danger that those lines would really happen
Yeah.
through, and it became just a joke. You know, that we knew it would happen, and we knew we could play it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's professional comedy,
Yeah,
you know, where you know how to do that.
If somebody was heckling with our own lines, Bergman, in the character of Bradshaw, would have, shut up! Out there in the audience, and had cigars
Yeah.
out. But no, we interact because that's what we do with one another. Our entire career was based on the ease of interaction. We were like jazz musicians, gigging,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Really, it was very much like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Inspiring one another to go funny places and, you know.
We have another question back here.
Yes.
Hi, this is more of a FYI for everybody, not so much a question, but if you guys are featured weekly on it's announced, Kurt in Austin, Texas through Radio Free Dish Nuts, they have 2 hours of Firesign Theater related material.
Really?
Your albums, your interviews, lots of stuff you've done. It's all recorded and it's curated by this guy. And
What, do you know his name?
well, his first name is Kurt. I forget his last name.
Kurt, and it's in
Yeah,
Texas?
Yeah, I know.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
okay, so basically
KURT.
on the Facebook Firesign Theater group page, he always announces what's going to happen on Wednesday on the Thursday show. That Thursday show happened tonight, and I'm going to have to look, you know, it's going to be on archive in a few days, but they have an archive page that goes years in the
Yeah.
past.
He has virtually all the interviews we've ever done. He's got an incredible amount of things.
Resource for the film.
It's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
good research, very good point.
The collectors who've been with us for 50 years, really. There are people who've been around collecting us, helping us for all that period of time. And their archives are richer than ours because they've collected. You know, we've just got or had or lost, where they've actually collected and kept. So, and the Library of Congress is safely located in Library of Congress, where they keep them? In
Virginia.
Yeah, but in what little town? Culpeper. That's it. Culpeper, Virginia. That's where everything is stored. So don't worry about them burning down the actual building.
Oh, good.
That's what the flying saucer is.
That's right, we'll take all, yeah.
And that's where all the archives are. So I don't know, any moment now.
Lift them up, take them away.
All that.
That's exciting. Wow.
I have one thing, it's not a
Quick
question, actually. You guys signed my eyeball hat. And when you did it, I said to Peter, I said, you know, you guys have ruined my life. And he said, we love to hear that.
Yeah, eyeball hats, that was at, what, 2000? That was,
Everything you know is wrong.
no, that was Give Me Immortality.
Oh, give me your mortality.
Yeah, in 2000. We had a group of 3 albums from Rhino in 2000. They are as good as anything that we ever did in the beginning.
Yeah.
Give Me Immortality, Give Me Death, Boom Dot Bust, and Bride of Firesign.
Right.
So they are magnificently produced, I'm happy to say. Austin basically did the
Yeah,
mixes.
Phil Austin was a
He's-
wonderful.
He could have had such a career as a producer if he chose to go that way. He's great ears.
We had one question from a person on our live stream. The person asked, "Do you think that the Firesign Theater would still be able to be successful today, considering the way things are with our world?"
Well, we get fired. Hey, Yeah.
a success.
Give us a show, we'll be fired. I guarantee you. No, I mean, what was the name of that, radio is a, what is it? Radio is a nightmare? What? Radio's a heartbreak. Yeah, radio's a heartbreak. You know, we've just changed our format. I mean, you know, that only on radio do things like it's hard to change your format on television. It's a big
Yeah,
job.
Yeah.
If all four of us were alive, we could do radio and
Yeah, sure.
improvise, and it would be a fascinating time to do it.
Yeah.
For an hour, and then we'd be put in a gulag.
It's pretty amazing how relevant the material is.
Yeah.
It's amazing how continually relevant it is, and unfortunate sometimes how continually relevant it is. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Anybody else have a question? Yeah. Let's get you, Jay.
Since I've been following you guys for 50 years, I want to know, how do old people like you
Stay alive.
still alive?
Well, we
Unlike
don't
me.
eat. We don't eat. It hasn't affected my appetite. You know, that is, it is. It is great to see people older than I am. It's great to see, you know, these the people who are brought to
Ladies
this.
and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Margaret
well,
O'Brien.
yeah,
I
indeed.
think that it comes out of the fact that our profession is based on infancy. You know? Eternal childhood.
Yeah, that's,
Eternal wonder.
Yeah.
And observation. You know, Daddy, what's that? You know, and also because Dave and I are both still physically active in theater and writing and design and all that. It just keeps you going. It's just fun. It's just fun.
Oh, yes. We're so glad that you keep going. This is really wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to Raps, coming all the way up here, and just thank you. An interesting thing, when I said to Walden showcases so much work. Can't we wait a little while? And he said, Lindsay, these people are treasures, and we need to do this now, because we don't know how long we'll have all of these people. So we're just...
Buried treasure.
that's what happened to all of these people that we've worked with. I mean,
Yeah.
one after another after another.
Well, we're really...
Dorothy is Michelle Trachtenberg, who just died very recently.
Yeah.
And we lost, we lost the lion. Anyway, I'm just rambling. She doesn't want me to ramble.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for the Firesign Theater and for this fantastic night. Thank you all of you for being here. We really appreciate you all coming out. Are you guys okay to talk to people and sign things, or are you ready to just go call it a night? Or okay, well, we'll see. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Please join us for the rest of Showcase over the weekend. We'll be here tomorrow starting at 9:15, I believe, is the show. I think it's One Man's Family in the morning. So all the radio that you can handle this weekend for free. So please do come or tune in on our streams. Thank you to our streaming audience. We hope that they enjoyed it too. And everyone, have a great night. Thank you.
My friend Adele